Muggles, I wanted to make a brief video about working during the pandemic in Tokyo because I had quite a few messages about this, and I think a lot of people don't know that we never had any lockdown like other countries, and the government politely told us to stay inside, but honestly we didn't have that many rules. And I quarantined in my house for like months and months, but then people were still going outside all the time, and every day outside I could just hear children playing or like people drunk coming back from drinking, so it kind of was disheartening a little bit. But Japan seems to be doing pretty well in terms of cases compared to other countries, but at the same time Japan is also testing less than other countries, and I've heard from people who try to take the test that it's actually a lot harder to get it. Like, you have to prove that you're very, very sick before they give it to you. I think recently things have improved and they're trying to test more, but I'm hoping that they can bring it up to the level of, like most other countries. So I guess around April, this all kind of kicked off, and people started to realize what a big deal this was. And all of a sudden I went to work and they said, well, we had a meeting and they said, okay, from tomorrow, don't come to work. We're not sure how long that this is gonna go on for, but we can't be at work from tomorrow, so just don't come in. We don't know how long this is gonna last, so we'll tell you 1 week in advance when to come back. So of course we went home and we didn't know if this was gonna last a week or a few days or a few months, and it ended up lasting about 3 months. So somewhere during that time, we decided to do Zoom calls like most other countries' classes have been doing. And I guess that had a lot of challenges, mostly because in Japan, even though it appears to be technologically advanced on the outside, most office spaces are not modern at all. Like, we still use fax machines and, like really... we have really old computers, and a lot of the software are quite old, so obviously it's a little bit harder for them, but everyone really tried their best. We had a lot of meetings about learning how to use Zoom, and eventually, we got there. It was hard for the students to figure out because they're elementary schoolers, but somehow we got there. The Zoom calls, they were mostly fine because the students only really use Zoom for their homeroom classes. As a specialist subject teacher, I didn't actually teach any lessons. I just popped into their homeroom like once a week and said, hi guys, like hanging there, stuff like that. One way I realized that I could help was I started to make little YouTube videos teaching like small grammar points and singing songs and stuff like that, and my school posted them on their official YouTube. So that was a good way that I could help. A lot of teachers didn't know how to use iMovie, and I also taught them how to do that. And so things went on like that for a few months, and then it was determined that things got better, I guess, and we could go back to work. And usually we would have our summer break during the whole of August, but this year they cut it in half. So halfway through August we had to go back to work. The problem with that is that Japan is incredibly hot and humid, and August is just unbearable. Usually during summer break I rarely go outside, and being at work is honestly just unbearable. Every part of your body sweats and is moist just the whole day, and it rains quite a lot, and the rain just feels like hot miso soup. It's honestly terrible. And of course we had to look out for heat stroke because heat stroke is a big deal in Japan during this time, and like a lot of people die from it. And I think quite a few of our students ended up getting heat stroke during class and feeling sick or feeling dizzy, so that was a big problem. So every class I had at the beginning, I made sure that my students had water, and I got them to just like settle down a bit and make sure that they wash their hands and they're wearing their masks. So I made sure that the students wore their masks every class, which was another requirement, obviously. but they're elementary schoolers, so of course sometimes they take it off and they forget, or they lose it, or just those kind of general problems. And it's also quite hot for them, so that was an issue. It's very hard to teach a language when you're wearing a mask and everyone else is wearing a mask. But I think the Japanese kids probably handle this better than other countries because they're used to wearing them when they're sick. And returning back to work, we had a lot of meetings. Actually, during the Zoom call phase, I think I had like 12 meetings a week on Zoom with my work friends, and some days I'd have like 3 meetings a day. It was honestly a lot. Like, Japanese work culture expect a lot of meetings, but during that time it was just the worst because there was so much uncertainty, so we had to prepare for so many different scenarios. So the rules were upon returning back to work that obviously everyone had to wear masks. We couldn't like swap papers, so I could give students papers but they couldn't touch each other's paper. We weren't allowed to all talk at the same time, so like no group speaking activities. We weren't allowed to sing songs or do dancing, no group work, and nothing where the kids are obviously speaking to each other. And as a English second language class, that was very, very hard. That cut down most of my lesson plans in half, and I had to just make my class very listening and written based, which is very hard for like children, because particularly during English they're used to singing and dancing and just running around, so that was very hard. But the kids are also quite understanding about it, and somehow we got through it. And then yeah, so that went on for until now, and it started off really good. The students were very cautious about observing social distance, but slowly, of course, by now they've completely forgotten about it. So I make my class, I think very carefully about my lesson plan and how none of the students would be interacting during that time. And then as soon as the bell goes, they like get up and just dogpile each other, and they're licking each other, and they're grabbing me, they're stroking my hair, they're touching my flashcards. So it's just as you would expect. Policing children's bodies is incredibly hard, and that's probably the hardest part, honestly. But yeah, so that's the point that we're at now, and so far I don't think anyone in my school has caught corona, at least. And oh, another thing is that every homeroom teacher has a thermometer gun. Like, they shoot your head, well, not shoot your head, but like they point it at your head and it tells your temperature. But my school actually has quite a lot of money, so downstairs in the lobby they have this very weird big machine, and you go up to it and it scans your face and it tells you your temperature, and it's really awesome. I do this like every day. It's really, really fun, and it's just small things like that that made it feel like my company really tried to make everyone at least feel safer. But of course, that's not my only job. I also do like modeling and influencer stuff and talent, and I almost completely stopped doing that during this time because honestly it's not worth it. I hate auditions in general, but going there and having to wear a mask the whole time in a room full of so many people, it doesn't make me feel very safe. And a lot of times I got offered something, like I got offered this event. It was like a pizza and wine tasting event, and I was like, they ask you if you can do it, yes or no, and I said, okay, sign me up for it because it's not gonna happen. And they're like, no, it's gonna happen for sure. But eventually, like a week later, they said, oh, we're really, really sorry, it was actually cancelled. And I was like, obviously. And this happened quite a lot. Like, I got quite a few event offers and they were all cancelled, and I was just like, why are you even bothering? But I got from Instagram is actually kind of better. I got quite a few things sent that I could take during my own time in my own house, and that was much better for me. And obviously there's no interaction with other people, so that's good. I think this is quite a good time for influencers, maybe because it gives us more free reign over our own space, and obviously more companies are, instead of doing their own photo shoots, they're sending items to smaller influencers, so that's good. And what else have I been doing? I haven't really been translating that much stuff. The company that I translate for kind of took a break during Corona, I think they worked themselves pretty hard this last year or so, and this was a good opportunity for them to just wind down and maybe just spend this time playing games by themselves. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. If you have any questions about what it's like during the pandemic in Tokyo, please ask me. For me, it doesn't seem like that much has changed. I know that restaurants close from 10 p.m. That was a rule, but I think that's gone back now, and every cafe you go to, they'll check your temperature before you're seated and just stuff like that. So yeah, not much has changed. But I hope that everything eases up a little bit soon, but obviously I hope that particularly Japan treats this with the seriousness that it really needs to be had, because I feel like Japan maybe hasn't been taking this as seriously as it could have, and although we're doing well now, I want us to continue doing well. And you know, like, it doesn't matter that the cases are low if you're the one that catches it. Like, the cases have to be 0, and I'm not gonna stop being careful until the cases are 0. So yes, please stay safe, and thank you for watching, and please subscribe.